It's sacrifice.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 horror film The Sacrifice Game. The film is directed by Jen Wexler and it stars Mena Massoud, Olivia Scott Welch, Chloe Levine, Gus Kentworthy and Madison Baines, as well as Georgia Acken. Right, this film focuses on, well, essentially it starts with kind of two parts. There is 4 individuals who seem to be going round on a killing spree. It's around Christmas time, and they seem to be, they're almost like sacrificial in the way that they are committing these murders. And they're kind of heading cross country. They're clearly going to a certain place while they're doing these murders, and it seems to be in a particular order. And then the second part is there's like a girls' school, an all-girls school, and everybody's going home for Christmas apart from these 2 students, Samantha and Clara, and there's a teacher staying behind to keep them company. So on Christmas Eve they are about to sit down and have their Christmas dinner, and there's a knock at the door and it's these 4 killers. And they are there for a particular sacrifice in the hope that they are going to raise something demonic that will give them the power, all the power in the world that they want. However, there is something they just didn't bargain for. Right, what are my thoughts on The Sacrifice Game? Well, this is another Shudder film. I think Shudder actually are doing pretty well for the most part. I know sometimes they fire out some duds. But I thought this was another well-made, very watchable film for the most part. Now, that's not to say that this is, going to make anybody's top 10 list or anything like that, because it certainly isn't. There are numerous flaws really here, but I thought it had a very, very strong opening. It's set in the 70s as well, which I forgot to mention. So it's got this retro feel about it, and it almost lures you into a false sense of security when it starts. Almost, it feels all family oriented and Christmassy, and then it gets very graphic and very brutal very, very quickly. And that's one thing that stands out with this film, is it is indeed very graphic indeed. Well, I suppose for you gore hounds out there that love horror films to be full of gore, it would probably be quite tame to you, but to the rest of us, if you like, this I certainly found it certainly quite brutal and graphic for the most part. This film, the kills, and things like that, and it really worked. These 2 stories going along. These killers on this road trip killing people in a particular order and taking pieces of skin, and then you've got this girls' school, this story of this girls' school as well, and they kind of come to meet each other at one point in the film. And then the film takes a different trajectory in a sense. You've got these 4 individuals there that wanting to raise this demonic entity. One of them's like a girl. She used to go to this girls' school, and she believes the answer is there at the school in regards to what they need to unleash this demon that's going to give them all this power. But things don't really go as they expect, and that's the one thing that I thought. I think if I was really paying attention, I might have figured out what was going, or where it was going to go. But sometimes I just watch a film and I like to kind of click my brain off, if you like, and be surprised. Sometimes I'll watch a film and I'm really attentive, and I kind of spoil them for myself sometimes because I kind of figure out what's going to happen. But I thought the direction it took was quite an interesting one, because you definitely want to see these 4 killers get their comeuppance. But what the film does quite smartly is, not all of them, but a couple of them you end up kind of feeling a little bit of sympathy for when they are faced with what they are faced with at this school. And I think there's a couple of very strong performances. Well, there's strong performances from everybody, but the 2 younger actresses, we've got Madison Baines playing Samantha and Georgia Acken playing Clara. I think they both give really stellar performances here. Very good indeed, and it really does hold the film together. And you've also got these like I said, these 4 killers that come to the school, and they all give varied performances. The one that you would class as the leader, Jude is called. I'm not sure how I would categorise his performance. Some would say it was bad. I want to be a bit more nuanced than that. I don't think it was a bad performance. I think it was over the top. It was almost pantomime-like at times, and it didn't feel menacing to me. For the majority of his acting, it just felt a little bit silly and over the top. But for a film of this kind of quality, I thought the acting really throughout was very, very good. I think where it kind of drops the ball, this film, is the final act. For me, it got a little bit predictable and it lost its edge. I think early on in the film, like I say, you had that brutality, and it didn't really hold anything back. And then it kind of, the final act for me just didn't necessarily deliver the fright and the scares. And that's, I suppose, maybe another thing you could throw at this is it's not exactly what you'd describe as Scarefest or anything like that, especially when you consider that there's demons involved in this film, and I'm not going to spoil how or what happens in that sense, obviously, but you would expect there to be a little bit more in the way of frights at some points in the film, and this film relies a little bit too more on shocks than frights. And I think if it had found the balance a little bit better, I think this film probably would have elevated itself to an even more impressive, a higher score, is what I'm trying to say. So, while I don't think this is a bad film by any stretch of the imagination, because it absolutely isn't, it's a film that I think ticks a lot of boxes. I suppose it's a festive horror film, but it's one of those horror films that's set at Christmas but not kind of based around Christmas really. But I thought that there was some good moments here in this film. I thought it was directed well, I thought it was lit well, I thought the feel of the film kind of hit the mark, this 70s look and feel and everything. For the most part it worked. I think the failings kind of let it down, and I think there was scope here to elevate this film to something beyond the score that I have certainly given it here. So check it out if you haven't seen The Sacrifice Game. It's certainly worth your time. It's not a terrible film or anything like that, but I suspect it's one of those films that some people will warm to and some people will not be that keen on, really. I suppose it's just and I can understand both ways really, because there's some quality here and there's obviously some flaws. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more content on the channel very, very soon.